Hello, lovely people of the world. It's Sarah again. Welcome back to our channel, Love Withstanding. I am half of Love Withstanding, and my other half, my husband Justin, is actually working from home again today. He is upstairs working really hard to support his family with his computer work. I know people always ask me, what does he do for work? I'm like, computers? But yeah. Our two girls, Sabrina and Chanel, who are 4 and 2 years old, are actually at day home, and I am currently on leave, but I will touch on that later. Because yeah, I have to speak to you guys about my second trimester highlights for this pregnancy around with baby number 3. So yes, that's exciting. Please bear with me as I look through my notes and try to remind myself what the second trimester was like. So if you guys have missed out on our first trimester highlights with baby number 3, I have it up here somewhere, or you will see links below in the description as well. But yeah, let's get started. Alright, so I'm gonna try to go date by date based on my notes here on my phone. Unfortunately, I was not able to record every single week of pregnancy this time around, as you guys know, because it has been really busy. I mean, this is baby number 3, you guys. We have 2 very active toddlers that keep us on our toes. Sabrina underwent surgery to her feet. Thankfully, she's recovered and she's bounced back like nothing happened. Thanks so much to you guys for your prayers and support when it came to that. As well as I have officially returned to work from being on a 1.5 year maternity leave when I was pregnant, or after giving birth to my second daughter, Chanel. So yes, finally back at work, which is exciting and at the same time quite stressful. So yes, I'll touch on that in this video. Alright, so for my second trimester, the second trimester begins at about 13 weeks of pregnancy. So I'm going to start there. I was scheduled and had my second ultrasound. I got to see baby Park number 3. Did not know the gender at the time, you guys, by the way. But yes, my second ultrasound was scheduled September 22. I was 13 weeks along, September 22, 2022, and I was 13 weeks along. And this was baby Park number 2 on that day, number 3 on that date. Okay, so baby Park number 3 was measuring 13 weeks, and heart rate was 153 beats per minute, and baby Park was measuring 6.8 centimeters in length from head to rump or bum. So yeah, so cute. Look at that. No feet. Oh, I don't know if you could tell. I went to this ultrasound alone. I did not want to bother Justin. Basically, in this ultrasound, they're going to test for the likelihood or risk or chances of the baby having a chromosomal or any chromosomal abnormalities, such as, like Down syndrome, trisomy 21, whether there's an excess or a deficiency in chromosome numbers. Thankfully, everything came back negative for any chromosomal abnormalities, and baby Park number 3 seems to be right on track at 13 weeks along. Oops. Uh-oh. What you got there? Oh, wow. Are you a firefighter or do you work in the kitchen? Wow, amazing. I believe I had another blood work booked, but first let's talk about a phone call I got from my doctor's office, which was a bit of a shocker. So as you guys know or have heard from my previous pregnancy update, which is my first trimester highlights. I have been categorized as pre-diabetic with possibly gestational diabetes, and it's my first time ever. And then I get this phone call from one of the nurses, or receptionists I should say, from our family doctor's office, saying that your family doctor has sent over a referral to an obstetrician, and the obstetrician has recommended that you start taking 2 aspirins a day every day. That was Justin. 2 aspirins a day every day at bedtime, just as a precautionary measure because you're considered high risk pregnancy. It's a preventative measure so you don't get hypertensive disorders later on or any complications with like preterm birth or anything like that. Of course, I was like, hold up a second, back it up, back it up, back it up. What is all this? Are you sure you have the right patient? Like what? Start aspirin. I am so against taking medication during pregnancy, and that's just my choice, you guys. I do not judge other people. And of course, there are other like pregnant mamas that have to be on medication. But for me personally, if I could hold off on any medications during pregnancy, I try not to take them, aside from vitamins, of course. And as long as it keeps baby and myself healthy, right? So I was like, aspirin? I don't even take Tylenol for a headache. Aspirin? Like, what's going on? So I told her, like, I'm sorry, is there any way I could have my family doctor explain all of this to me? So I'm like, is a doctor available? Doesn't have to be my family doctor, just any doctor that can help me understand better, because to be honest with you, I am not ready or willing to start taking aspirin every day as a preventative measure unless I have the numbers. Like, let me know what you have found that made you decide that I need to be started on baby aspirin. What led to that decision? Please have a doctor call me back. I hope you understand. And she was really nice about it. And she's like, oh, yes, absolutely. I'll make sure a doctor calls you. I was frazzled after that conversation. And as I was doing my research, I found out, I'm talking like scientific journals research, not just like Googling random articles out there. I was looking at scientific based evidence that are in scientific journals out there, trusted ones. And what I learned was that when you've reached a certain age in your pregnancy and you're considered high risk, that's because of certain risk factors or predisposing factors such as age, so being over 35, your ancestry, so being of African, Hispanic, or Asian descent increases your risk. And when I talk about risk, I'm talking about predisposing factors when it comes to hypertensive disorders. Hypertension basically means high blood pressure. What are the other risk factors? I'm trying to remember now. If this is your first pregnancy, I think a certain body mass index as well, if you're considered overweight or whatnot. Oh, if you're a smoker, all that stuff. But it increases your risk of possibly acquiring hypertensive disorder or high blood pressure complications later on in pregnancy. And so, according to these scientific journals, highly recommended for pregnant women of advanced maternal age to begin taking preventative measures, on top of diet and exercise, such as taking baby aspirin or aspirin, 81 milligrams, sometimes 2 tablets of that every night. During pregnancy, you can start anywhere between 13 to 16 weeks of pregnancy and then stop taking it at around 36 to 37 weeks of pregnancy. My blood pressures have always been normal. Even during this pregnancy, they have been wonderful. So after doing my research and all that, I got a call on October 12, 2022 from my family doctor's office, but it wasn't from my family doctor. It was from another doctor that was filling in for her that day. And he was asking me, like, what are your concerns? I heard that you don't want to start on aspirin every night. And I'm like, okay, doctor, like I'm not trying to be a difficult patient here, but I have been pregnant twice before and I have never been asked to start on any aspirin before. And I was wondering, like, do you have certain reasons as to why, or do you happen to know the reasons behind why my family physician, who referred me to an obstetrician, why that obstetrician would tell her that she needs me to get started on aspirin right away? I was 15 weeks along at the time of this call. I was going to turn 16 weeks the very next day. So my window of opportunity when it comes to preventing hypertensive or high blood pressure complications later on is between the 13 to 16 week mark, and I only had 1 day now to decide. From this phone call, 1 day to decide whether I'm going to start it or not, because they said if you start aspirin anytime after 16 weeks of pregnancy, what's the word? Ineffective when it comes to preventing complications of high blood pressure or hypertensive disorders later down the road during this pregnancy. So I had 1 day to decide whether I was going to change the course of everything, or, you know, like, should I take the aspirin? Should I not take the aspirin? So this doctor was kind enough to explain to me about, yes, exactly what I just researched, which is that because of my age, because of my ethnicity, I am considered of high risk or a high risk pregnancy, and also because, the other predisposing factor was because I'm being tested for gestational diabetes. That predisposes me now to possibly having complications later on in pregnancy, such as preterm birth, meaning giving birth to the baby early, or other like hypertensive high blood pressure disorders later down the road. And that the only way I could prevent that is just a preventative measure. Is if like it wouldn't hurt, according to him, it wouldn't hurt if I get started on baby aspirin or aspirin 81 milligrams. But during pregnancy, they said there's been enough research to show that 81 milligrams may not be sufficient, so they need us to take 2 of the 81 milligrams. So that would be 162 milligrams every night. And the reason he said that they recommend the nightly instead of during the day is because aspirin tends to result in stomach upset. But so at least if you're like sleeping, when I say stomach upset, I don't mean diarrhea. It's more like acidity, because it is acidic in nature, indigestion, heartburn. So they recommend sort of having it with your bedtime snack, because you can't have it on an empty stomach. But at the same time, it's recommended to have it during the night, and to be sitting upright or not laying down for 30 minutes after taking it, and then going to bed, which is what I've been doing, because during pregnancy you have to, and especially if you're being tested for gestational diabetes, you have to make sure you have that bedtime snack. So I usually have eggs for my bedtime snack, rich in protein, which helps with my blood sugar. That would be a totally completely different video as to what I've been doing to maintain my blood sugar levels during this pregnancy and to be able to fight off medications and insulin while being sort of watched for gestational diabetes. So yes, a totally different video. I promise I will do my best to put one out there for you guys. For those of you who are just curious or they're trying to figure out how to control blood sugar. Of course, my ways of controlling my blood sugar levels may be completely different from, or not as effective for others out there. So I'm just putting it out there that you make sure that you consult your doctor, your dietitian, a specialist, before you make any changes. But yes, another video, another time. He was able to convince me, like, just take the 81 milligram aspirin. I mean, if you choose not to take it, just be prepared. There is a chance you will get complications later on in your pregnancy, but there's also a chance that you won't. So at the end of the day, it's my decision to make. Because I've done enough research, he was able to answer my questions efficiently. I decided, you know what, I am going to take the baby aspirin, 162 milligrams every night. Starting at 16 weeks of pregnancy. Aside from the fact that I don't like to take medication during pregnancy, the only thing that was preventing me from taking it was also the fact that I know they were blood thinners. So it makes you more of a bleeder. And so I was worried about like, hey, when time comes for me to have to push the baby out, will I end up losing a lot of blood? And yeah, he told me it was perfectly safe. I will have to stop taking aspirin, obviously before, like I think it was 36 or 37 weeks of pregnancy. So before baby's due. The very next day, I turned 16 weeks pregnant. I believe that was October 13, 2022. And I decided, yeah, why not? Got myself a bottle of aspirin, started taking it. Did I notice anything different? I would say not, actually, because I followed the instructions. It didn't affect my blood pressure either. My blood pressure is exactly the same as before I started taking baby aspirin. So no biggie there, but I made sure that when it came time to see my obstetrician, I made sure to give them a full list of my medication. So I tell them, this is what I'm taking. Just heads up, I'm also taking aspirin, so that, you know, we're all on the same page. Sabrina, look.
Are you happy, Sabrina? This is your Spider-Man costume.
Excited? Oh, excuse me. Okay, 1 second. Are you excited? Are you gonna be Spider-Man for Halloween? Hey, there's a hole in the bottom.
Are you Spider-Man, Sabrina?
Come on, let's go. Let's put it up.
Are you ready? Are you ready for your costume?
Wow, you're Spider-Man! Say hi! You're Spider-Man! Hi! You're so happy.
Are you Spider-Man?
Are you Spider-Man?
Hi, Spider-Man.
You're Spider-Man! Say hi! Can you see?
I can see.
Are you sure? Or maybe we have to cut that more. Oh, and then I went back to work, you guys. That was the highlight for my second trimester. I went back to work after being on a year and a half, a little bit over a year and a half maternity leave since giving birth to our second daughter, Chanel. So yeah, being back at work full-time as a nurse, trying to get back into the groove of like, oh my gosh, I have to wake up extra early because my shift starts as early as 6:30 in the morning. Supposed to end at 2:30 in the afternoon, but I can never end on time. Work politics, you guys. The workload was too much to handle, not just for my pregnant self, but it was just since the pandemic, a lot of things have changed, and kudos to all the nurses, healthcare workers out there that are putting in so much effort and time to keep everybody safe and protected. It's a lot of work, you guys. Like, I was overwhelmed. I was surprised. I thought at first, oh, maybe it's just once I get into the routine and groove of things, then I'll be able to catch up. But I found out that it's just a lot of, like, putting in a lot of overtime hours, most of the time unpaid overtime, just to be able to get your job done, just to be able to finish your workload for the day. Because if you don't finish it for the day, you're going to pass it on to the next shift. The next shift will pass it on because they have their own list of things to do or tasks to fulfill, and then it comes back to you the next day and it starts to pile up. So I do my best to finish what I can on my shift so as not to burden the next person. But yes, that's the harsh reality of being a nurse these days. Ever since the pandemic had hit, things have not been the same. Workload has been through the roof, but you do what you can and you give it all, you give it your all, and you try to get home to your family in time for dinner. That's the sad reality, but I do love my job. I love being a nurse. I love the people I work with, the people I work for. They're just amazing. So yeah, I'll try not to get emotional. So I went back to work October 26, 2022 and got some orientation, and then I got back into the full-time groove. I believe I was the plan is to only work about 4 months, so November, December, Jan, Feb, 4 months, just to accumulate enough hours to be eligible for my next maternity leave, so that the government will be able to support our family financially with maternity leave pay. I need to be able to accumulate 600 hours of insurable worked hours in order to qualify to receive maternity leave benefits from the government for my next maternity leave. And if I work full time, I would easily gain 600 hours within a 3 to 3.5 month mark of working full time. So yes, that was the plan, is to work 4 months to be on the safe side and then go on my next maternity leave with baby number 3. Our third ultrasound, you guys. Our third ultrasound, which is the gender / anatomical ultrasound, was scheduled for November 10th, 2022. And for this one, Justin decided to sit it out as well. He would be so tempted to keep his eyes open when it comes to checking the private parts and determining the gender of the baby. He knew himself and he's like, I'm not going to this one either. Let's keep it as a surprise. And let's plan a gender reveal. For those of you guys who haven't seen the gender reveal video, we had one. It was so exciting, super fun. Mind you, we've had 2 girls. And then this gender reveal came out. And we were just we were a mess. But yes, we will show you what that looks like. For those of you who missed it, for those of you who watched it, thank you so much for your congratulations, for your support. Yeah, find out I don't know if I already divulged whether we were having a boy or girl, but find out. I was 20 weeks along on that day of the ultrasound, and I got this really cute photo of baby part number 3. Baby part number 3 was 20 weeks along on November 10, 2022. Heart rate was 157 beats per minute, and we found out the gender. So that's exciting. So cute though. Did you see the forehead? We're going to show you a photo because it might be blurred right now. But oh my gosh, the forehead though. That's my favorite part. One of my favorite parts. Oh, I just love little babies. That's why you can't stop making them. But yes, that was the gender ultrasound. We did not find out the gender at the time. We planned to find out the gender, I believe, 2 days later. I could swear it was 2 days later. That was the highlight. Major highlight for us during the second trimester. OB appointment as well. Fell on the same week at 23 weeks of pregnancy, which is still considered second trimester, on my birthday. So December 6th is when I went to see my OB. That's another thing, you guys. I was referred to, not my usual obstetrician or OB, as the first 2 pregnancies. It used to be the same obstetrician for when I was pregnant with my first child and my second. And now this time around, since I'm considered high-risk pregnancy because of my age and my ethnicity and my being possibly tested for gestational diabetes, I have been referred to a high-risk obstetrician, which is a completely different place. It's at the hospital, one of the branches of the hospital that I will be giving birth at or in. So I was sad about not being able to see my usual obstetrician, but they said that unfortunately there is no high-risk obstetrician in that same place that is available to take me. So yeah, I was referred to this new one. They're a tag team between a male and a female obstetrician. They're cool. What I didn't like is about the waiting time. I would have to wait an hour to an hour and a half in the waiting area, even with a scheduled appointment. And so I tend to take the day off of work because of the unpredictable wait times that are as long as such. Also, my high-risk obstetrician team can only see me on Tuesdays because they do have their hands full. And Tuesdays, I work every Tuesday at work. I work every Tuesday, so I would have to file for a vacation every single time I have an OB appointment on Tuesday. So that was kind of the part that I didn't enjoy very much. So I didn't like taking days off work unnecessarily, especially since I need to accumulate enough hours to be eligible to get maternity leave benefits from the government. So here in Alberta, Canada. So yeah, as long as I give work enough notice, they had no problems and they would always approve my vacation days for those appointments.
Hi Sabrina.
Hi.
Where are you supposed to be?
I'm scared.
You're scared?
The Halloween decoration.
You're scared of the Halloween decoration?
Not Daddy. Look, it's Halloween decoration. Halloween decoration.
Okay, Wonder Woman. Excited? Okay, let's go. Come, Sabrina. Which house do you want? You want to go this one? Or? The dietitian has been in talks with me every few weeks. I would say a week or 2 weeks by phone. And she has been asking whether I could switch my lifestyle to a more keto-based diet. I mean, she didn't specify keto, which basically means like low carbs, high fat, high protein diet. Oh, and also no sugar, of course, just to maintain my blood sugar levels. I looked into keto diets and I tried to incorporate that. It is a huge lifestyle change, you guys. That's another video. I'm going to talk about all that later. But yes, had to change that, and I noticed that my weight has been maintained. I believe I tipped the scales the very first time I found out I was pregnant. I tipped the scales at about 134 pounds. And then even like up till now, I believe during my second trimester, when I would get weighed, I was maintaining the 134 pound mark. So yeah, my dietitian was a little bit concerned. She's like, you should have gained weight. But she understood that I did have to go through a lifestyle change and dietary changes. I had to cut out rice. She did not recommend to cut it out. She said to portion it, but I noticed that white rice is my enemy when it comes to like my blood sugar spiking. So I had to cut that out and focus more on brown rice, potatoes when it comes to carbs. And yeah, it worked really well to help me maintain a healthy weight during pregnancy. I don't know if you could tell, I look skinnier. Yeah, and I don't look as puffy as I used to. It feels like all the weight is just right here in my tummy. For the second trimester, as it ended, so during my 23-week checkup, was 61.3 kilograms at my obstetrician's office. Don't make me do math. I would say the main difference I noticed was the fact that, I'm not embarrassed to say this, okay? We live in a cold country, but I find that it is so much harder to get myself to put makeup on. What else? To shower. Not embarrassed, okay? It's a cold country. As it is, we don't shower every day. Full disclosure, we don't shower every day. Because if you shower every day and you're in a cold country, such as Canada, you tend to strip your skin's natural oils and cause dryness altogether. So like you get dandruff, more so if you shower your hair every day or shampoo your hair every day. Your skin starts to feel super dry because it is cold climate, and you're stripping your body of its natural oils. So yes, I do not shower every day. Okay? And I found, like, as it was, I did not shower every day. But I noticed that with this pregnancy, I am barely able to shower every week. Oh my God, you guys. Full disclosure. I couldn't get myself to do it. And even makeup. Like, I used to make sure I never leave the house without makeup on. Now, I just rely on my mask. I'm like, I'm just going to cover everything up with a mask here. Don't need to put makeup, because when I go to work anyway, we're required to be masking at all times, except of course you need to take a sip of water or if you're eating, right? But yeah, I cannot find the energy or the willpower to put makeup on, to shower, even to shower. It's crazy. Like, I would tell myself tomorrow, I'm too tired today. Then tonight, I'm too tired this morning. Like, I just couldn't get myself to shower. So a lot of the times you would see my hair up or in a braid when those days happen, because I need to look presentable for work. I cannot go to work stinky. My best friend is lotions, deodorant, and my ponytail. When I was pregnant with both my girls, definitely made sure I had lashes done. My nails were done. I would shower. I would at least shower. Yeah, this time around, I don't know if it's a pandemic. Like, I got used to wearing a mask, but I'm just wearing a mask everywhere I go. If I have to go buy groceries, I wear a mask. If I have to, like, mail a letter, I wear a mask. Go to work, wear a mask. So I found that there's no point in putting makeup on anyway. But with this pregnancy around, I noticed that I just don't have the willpower. So that's all I have for you guys. I'm so sorry, honey, that this is a really long video for you to edit. I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you to every single one of our viewers, our amazing Love with Standards subscribers out there. Thank you so much for your support, for always being there for us, for bearing with us, for sharing your comments, your opinions, your advice with us in the comment section below. We really do our best to read every single one of them. We appreciate every single one of them, being good or bad. We just appreciate all of you guys' support, and keep them coming, please. If you haven't subscribed already, you know what to do. And also, please hit the thumbs up or like button so that our videos would hopefully be recommended to others. If you happen to see value in this, then yes, please do share it with your family, your friends, other pregnant loved ones out there that would really appreciate this, or maybe if they just want to see how strange my experience has been. And yeah, if you guys are expecting your little one, be it your first, your second, your last, please share your experiences as well in the comment section for other parents such as myself to enjoy. Let me know what your experiences were. I would love to read those. Yeah, what your experiences were with your pregnancies. Was it different being of advanced maternal age compared to, like, you know, being of prime maternal age? I don't even know. That's what they call it. But yes, thank you for watching. Love you guys. See you in the next video.
Wax bombing. Yeah. And I think it's wax bombing.
That's right. Your mask keeps coming off.
Well,
What to do with that? Are you having fun? That's Wonder Woman. That's Chanel.
Sabrina.
Chanel's like trying to get out of her way. She's like,
Ducky.
She's coming. She's panicking. Sabrina, go hug Chanel. Go hug
Whoa.
Hug Sabrina. She doesn't recognize her, the mask on. So she's like, nah. Go hug. Spider-Man. Oh. She's